Welcome back to As Told by You. Today I have a guest on that I have known for, 10 years, maybe 12 years? When was it we did that stuff at the museum?
2015,
Okay.
I think, was the first time that we officially worked together.
Yeah, so 11 years. Wow.
Because wait, the Dylan Roof situation
Yep.
was the year prior.
Right.
So maybe it was 2016. You might
Yeah,
be right.
it might have been
because
2016.
we did the commercial for the race exhibit that was coming to the State Museum.
Yeah.
And it was it opened around the 1-year anniversary of
Okay.
that. So that, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 2016.
Cool.
So 10 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's wild.
Well, so this is Merritt McNeely. She is the CEO of Flock and Rally,
I am.
which is really interesting. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Talk to us about how you got. So I'm assuming y'all consider yourselves a marketing firm. Talk about what it is that
We call ourselves something different, like every time. Even I'm guilty of this. We are a full service integrated marketing creative agency. Sometimes people call us a PR agency because we are well known for our PR services. Sometimes people call us an advertising agency because we are people's advertising agency of record. Sometimes people call us a creative agency, but we are all of it. So we're really a marketing and communications. So we do sales and marketing tactics as well as communications. We work in paid, owned, and earned. We offer almost every service that you can think of in marketing and communications today, with the exception of people, products, and politics. And all that means is, clearly politics is involved in like everything that we do. What we mean by that is we don't represent candidates that are running for office. That's not what we do. People specialize in that, not us. We are not product marketers, so we're not like fighting for shelf space and trying to get products sold online in Amazon and TikTok shop. That's not what we do. And we don't represent people from a publicity standpoint. So we're not like somebody's publicist. Outside of that, we do pretty much everything. So we can build your brand. Our ideal clients allow us to do everything for them, from building a brand, building a website, helping them with foundational messaging, creating messaging toolkits, creating the story of their brand, and then doing all of the outreach to make sure they're reaching the audiences that they intend to communicate with or develop a relationship with, whether that's through earned media, paid media, social media, email marketing, SEO, GEO, all of the above. We do it all.
Well, and I knew Debbie and Tracy at relatively beginning of Flock and Rally. You know, I worked with them on. They were planning an event, and I did a video for the event. You know, it's pretty incredible to see the breadth of it at this point. You know how far it's come in so short of a period of time.
Yeah, I started 8 years ago, which sometimes it feels like that was like 2 years ago, and other times it feels like that was 20 years ago.
Right.
But when I started, there were like 6 of us in the loft at 701.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're 22 full-time staff, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we've never been the type of firm that wants to scale fast, take on a bunch of clients. We're very picky. We say no to a lot of people. We are truly, and I know this sounds like such a cliche thing to say, but like we live it every day. Ask our staff and even maybe our clients. We are relationships over revenue, people over profits. We've never chased money, and as a result, it has come to us, if that makes sense. So we're really focused on culture, and we're really focused on being our clients' true marketing partner, like sitting at their table, solving problems, having real hard conversations, open dialogue, because that's what we know works. And no matter what we face coming up in our world when it comes to marketing and communications, which I know we'll probably get into, I believe that is what's going to probably allow us to survive and continue to do well, because the way that we approach our clients and how we represent them is very different, and I think will allow us to survive what comes next.
So how would you describe your culture?
So we have core values that, so we've always had a culture, right? But a couple years ago, I became CEO in the end of 2022. And it was about mid 23 that I was like, okay, we clearly have a culture, but we need to put words around it. We need to make sure that we can talk about it when we're hiring people or when we're, doing a podcast like this. And so I took it upon myself to figure out how to make sure. Sorry, I'm hitting the microphone.
Yeah, you're good.
I talk with my hands.
That's fine. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm very animated.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have a way to talk about it in a consistent way, right? And in a way that our staff could talk about it and share. Because if you ask any of our staff, what is the culture at Flock and Rally? All of them, pre this activity, I guess, this initiative, would have said similar things, but maybe with different language. And as a marketing professional and a communications professional, I wanted to make sure that people had the right language to describe. So clearly culture goes beyond your core values, but our core values are tied to our fundamentals, and they ground us, and they do provide the foundation for how we all show up. So they are arrive authentically, and that means that, and this can be really hard to do because we have to mean it when we say it, right? You can say all day, we accept everybody. But if you have processes that aren't built for everyone's brains, or you're not flexible to be able to have different types of brains and different types of people in your environment, you may not really be as authentic or providing an authentic experience as you intend. So it's an everyday challenge to make sure that we're letting people really be themselves at Flock and Rally. And that means sometimes recognizing okay, you're not approaching that problem the way that I would. So I need to back off and trust that you can do it your way. And so that's one simple example, but
that's really tough to do.
It's very tough to do, especially because, and I'm jumping ahead, but one of the questions I know we were potentially going to talk about is how do you build a company with a lot of different creatives, or how do you manage a lot of different creatives? And the answer is weirdly simple, is that we don't all have creatives. The people that work at Flock and Rally are not all creatives, right? We do have creative people, and we have people who are creative in different ways. But everybody at our company has to be managed, and managed is I don't mean that to be a negative word. They need to be supported in very different ways because everybody works differently.
Yeah.
Our creatives, true creatives, need the space and the time to be able to build things that AI can't, and that wow the client, and that get to the heart of what we're trying to do, whatever that is, right? We create a mission statement now with each client, and that mission statement helps drive whatever it is that we're doing. Creatives take that mission statement and everything they learn from onboarding, and they're going to approach their work in a completely different way than, say, someone who's more non-creative, somebody who's maybe specializing more in earned media and PR, or maybe somebody who is a project manager and they're working on deadlines and traffic. And so everybody is approaching their work in different ways. And my job is to make sure our company can support each person wherever they are and however their brain thinks. And that sounds super simple and easy, and it's not. It's actually really hard to run a company where you truly support a lot of different people. So that's part of our culture, is that we want people to arrive as themselves and be free to be themselves, as long as, of course, they're within HR guidelines. Because
I have to wear pants today? Yeah. No one said I had to wear pants.
Right. We do have an employee handbook. We're over 15 people, and the laws change when you're over 15 people, and so we have to keep that in mind. But so that's just one example of our culture. I think, as I mentioned earlier, another part of our culture is that we hire people, and then help them really, really care about what they're doing.
Yeah.
We don't want people, and this is going back to us being picky about who we work with. We don't want to work with people that don't excite our employees.
Right.
And so we have a very special and unique onboarding process. It takes a little longer than most agencies, and we tell people this up front. We say, look, Flock and Rally is a little different. We're going to take longer to get to know you, because if your team, your dedicated team of creatives, project managers, account supervisors, specialists, SMEs, subject matter experts, if they are experts in you and your niche and your business and your industry and your audiences and your goals, they are going to make the right marketing decisions for you. And that is our goal, is that any decision that's made by a staff member, if they are truly educated and have had this deep understanding of the client and all of the things I mentioned, then we know that they're going to make the best decision when it comes to marketing and communications for that client. So we go deep, really deep. That's not a core value. That's just like one of the things
Go
that we
deep
do.
is a kind of a cool
It's-
core value.
it is kind of,
if you wanted to add that. I
Go
mean,
deep
that's-
is one of our fundamentals. So
all
I
right,
don't want to
okay.
be like,
Yeah.
like too like
Yeah.
weird. But we do have a set of 6 core values, and then we also have a long list of fundamentals. Things that, like, for example, one of our other fundamentals is that we treat the media like VIPs. And that influences how every one of our staff members has to interact with the media. We don't treat them like they are, like some people may treat them maybe poorly or maybe disrespectfully, or
Like a nuisance.
closed off, or like a nuisance, or that they don't trust them, right? Like we don't believe in that. We believe in treating them like VIPs, giving them everything they want, including like high-res photos and great video and talking points and FAQs. And we build digital press kits when we are working with the media to make sure that they have everything they need. And so that's just an example of like a fundamental. But to go back to your question about culture, because I could really talk about this forever. If you walked into Flock and Rally today, which a lot of people do, you would feel this vibe of people who genuinely want to work together. One of our other like fundamentals, not a core value, but how we like foundation of how we work and our beliefs, is that we believe in treating people like adults. So we have a come and go flexible working policy. That means that every employee at Flock and Rally, it doesn't matter where you are on the org chart, you can come and go as you please without having to get permission. Meaning, you could wake up tomorrow morning and have 6 meetings on your calendar. That's more me than other people. I have usually like 9. But you could decide, if you're just not feeling great, that you want to work from home that day. And as long as you don't have like an in-person client meeting, you could show up to all your meetings virtually. And we trust you to do that and get your job done. We ask our staff, of course, we log all of our time because we are an agency, and we build our estimates for work by the hour. So we have our employees work by the hour. We trust them, though, to manage their day. We want them to be adults, and we treat them like adults. We trust them. If they have a doctor's appointment and it goes long for 2 hours, we don't need them to get permission for that. We don't want them to take PTO for that. We know that they're going to make that 2 hours up and at some point in the rest of that week. So we give people this incredible freedom to work wherever they want in the world, as long as they're getting things done. So we're a performance-based company. As long as your clients are happy, your deadlines are met, your team is happy, you're attending your meetings, you're doing your work, we don't care where you are. And as a result, what's so fascinating is, like I said, if you walked into Flock and Rally today, you'll see more than half of the staff, probably 3/4 of the staff there at any given time, because they want to be together. They want to work together. We have a culture and an environment and an atmosphere that people want to be a part of. And that's why people line up to work at Flock and Rally, because I think the word is out that like it's a great place to work. Like our benefits also are kind of ridiculous, like in a good way. We give so many, our benefits are very, very, very generous for such a small company.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our culture is one of understanding, accountability, performance-based, but also a lot of trust. Now that doesn't work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We've had great people that it just doesn't work for, but it does work for a lot of people, and those people are with us and they stay and believe in our culture. And one of the things that we really need our people to do and understand and buy into is, one, our mission and our vision, and the client's mission and vision. And if they do, the work is easy and fun.
You know, it's really interesting. You talk you talk about this as if, like, you say, well, obviously this is the way to do it, right? and you know, we have had staff, and we not nearly 22. It gives me hives to think about having 22 people. But and doing those things, trying those things to say, I want you to be yourself. I want to go towards your strengths, and I want you to, you know, what do you like to do? What do you enjoy doing? What's best for the client to do, and all that stuff. And I just realized I don't like it. I don't like managing. I love creative people. I love being around creative people and working with creative people. And one of the reasons I asked that question is that, at least from the outside, I've never worked there, but I observe it to be a place that people want to work. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, managing a team of creative people is different than managing a team of engineers or accountants or lawyers, right? Because there's a set way of doing things for them, right? And there's no real set way of doing things for in our business, you know, and certainly your business. There's no real set way of doing things. So if you're working with you know, the library, or you're working with the bus system, or you're working with, you know,
Palmetto
Citizens, or All South,
Riverbank
or whatever,
Zoo,
or Riverbank Zoo, they take a different approach, and they have a different way of doing it, and it's nothing standardized, right? And so
well, and we can't. That freedom of not just work wherever. We have to give our creatives that freedom too. Mm-hmm. So and I don't even know the quote, so I can't even butcher it. I'm just going to say a bunch of words and hope it makes sense.
Yeah.
There's some quote that talks about standardizing the stuff that everyone has to do. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, then there's a percentage. It's like, if you standardize what everybody has to do, it's about 20%. Mm-hmm. And if you do create process there and templates there and make sure everybody follows this, then it actually allows for 80% of the time for freedom of thinking and creative.
Yeah.
And so that's what we try to do. We try to only create processes for the things that are like admin and maybe allow for efficiencies, and create a standardized way to approach something, but not to solve it. Mm-hmm. That we have to let the human brain do. Mm-hmm. And so we stop there, and we have to let our creatives and even our project managers, who may not think that they're creative, but one of our core values is to stay curious, which means that no one in our company ever gets to the point where they're like, okay, I know everything. Mm-hmm. I'm the smartest person in the room.
Oh, yeah.
We allow people to continue. We encourage people with money to continue to learn and grow, so that they can solve problems in a way that is creative. So a project manager may not be considered a creative, but we still need them to solve problems creatively. Sure. And that goes, again, back to that core value of staying curious. You have to stay curious, because, you know, if you think you know it all, you're going to be closed off. We want people to stay open.
Yeah.
And you can get creative when you're solving project management problems. So it's freedom of thought that we allow and want to create space for at Flock and Rally.
Well, so I'm curious about, this is a lot of infrastructure.
This looks stupid.
No, it looks great. I think it's a very cosmopolitan, like, I'm going to brunch.
I'm just cold a lot.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Come as you are. That's what we say at
Come as you are. I like that.
Arrive authentically. Exactly. But the infrastructure that you have set, which is all of these policies, all of these ideas and approach to things, obviously that all came from somewhere. It's not something that Merritt one day woke up and said, "Aha, I know how to run a company."
Right. Trial and error.
Is this EOS? Is there some way of kind of starting this journey to get to it? If you're a chaotic mess, like some people, not to say anybody specific, but like if you're a chaotic mess, is there a way to get it on track?
Yes, but you can't limit yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a one-size-fits-all approach. I love EOS. I love StoryBrand. We have created structures and then had to break them and remake them. Part of that, too, is also this concept of like another sort of fundamental of like, we don't ever set it and forget it and just say like, oh, well, we made that decision. We can't undo it. Like, we're not afraid to say, oops, we messed that up. That wasn't the right call. That wasn't the right structure. We have to fix it. So we're in a constant, and this can be exhausting, I'll admit. There's cons to this. But we're in a constant state of change because we want to keep getting it right. So, yeah, if you spent a week at Flock and Rally, you would feel whispers of EOS. You would feel whispers of StoryBrand. You would feel whispers of a lot of other tried and true policies, or that's not the right word. Structures. Yeah. So situational leadership, that's something that we've taught our leaders to do. I had the privilege of being a part of Vistage for a year and a half, maybe. And what I took away from that experience, I have brought to Flock and Rally. And so, to your point, this all didn't come from Merritt. I got a lot of education that I then used to try to fix things, solve problems. And so, Flock and Rally today is a bit of an amalgamation. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Sure.
Of like processes and policies that work for us.
Yeah.
We have a one stop shop called Workamajig right now. And there are parts of Workamajig that we love. We adopted it because it goes from CRM all the way through project management as one tool, sharing data, all the way to accounting. And in many ways and respects, it's been great. But there are a lot of things that don't work because of the way that we work at Flock and Rally. So even right now, we're in the process of trying to make Flock and Rally and Workamajig work together because there are just some things we're not going to give up, right? There are those fundamentals, the core values, and sometimes there are programs and processes that might encourage us to abandon them, and some of them work really well for us. So we're a bit of a puzzle where we've gathered pieces along the way, and not just from me. I mean, I ask our staff at least, at minimum once a year, how do you want us to proceed? We will do exercises at our annual retreats where we say, with the entire staff, wherever you are on an org chart, if you just got out of college, all the way up to me and even the owners, we'll say, what do you want us to abandon this year? What do you want us to keep? Like last year, we did a start, stop, continue activity. What do you want us to start doing? What do you want us to stop doing? And what should we continue? The year before that, we asked them all to just kind of verbal vomit, which is a horrible thing to say, but like brain dump. That's a better way to say it.
It's better.
Brain dump. Everything they wanted us to do as far as goals. Like, what do you want Flock and Rally to achieve? And we took all of that. We put it into themes. We had 5 themes for the year in which our goals fit that were all coming from the staff. So, you know, again, it's not just Merritt. I am asking our team constantly, what do you want? How can we do this better? It is not top-down leadership. It is bottom-up, which I don't mean anybody's on the bottom. That's not, I don't mean it that way. But it is truly an environment where anybody can walk in my office at any time and say, I think we should do this different. And I'll say, cool, let's figure it out. Let's do it. Like, again, that's another one of our core values, is that staying open-minded. And another core value is innovate daily. So it's, don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Don't, you did this earned media plan for one client. The next client who needs earned media is going to be completely different. Mm-hmm. We are a fully customizable firm, meaning we do start from scratch with every client, and that is exhausting. And you may say, maybe you could argue the con there is maybe there's some wasted time, maybe there's some efficiencies that we're not addressing, but we really believe that every single client needs a different approach. So no social media plan looks the same, no PR plan looks the same. Sure, we'll steal our own ideas to take it and then build upon it, but we really do believe that you have to do it different for every client.
Are there any surprises or things that came up in one of those brain dump sessions at the annual retreats that surprised you and were just like, oh man, that's great, and then you've implemented, and how did that implementation work?
Yeah, I won't give direct specifics because it kind of, I don't know if maybe it's what we can share, but what surprised me is how little I knew about what our staff wanted as far as benefits. Before we had these conversations with the full staff, there were a lot of conversation about benefits behind closed doors, and not to be secret. It was just like, oh, well, this is our job. Me and the HR admin and operations folks were like, okay, how do we put together a benefits package? Let's decide this and then roll it out. Hearing what our staff then said back to us, like, well, here's what we actually want, that surprised me. Hearing that they wanted some different things that were surprising to me. Mm-hmm. I'll give one example, and I'm sharing this before the staff even knows, but that's kind of fun.
Well, it'll be a week or
It'll
so.
be
so it's
not coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's okay.
You might have time. Go ahead and tell the staff when you
We're
get back.
not rolling this out till probably October, but
Okay.
I'm 99% sure this is not going to change. An example is, for several years, I kind of dug my feet in and said, we give a professional development allowance. That's one of our many benefits, and each staff gets a certain amount of money every year to spend it on professional development and almost anything they want. Mm-hmm. But over the years, we've had people approach me and say, like, can I please use this for a gym membership? Mm-hmm. And we've said no. And now I recognize that that's not the right thing to do. Our world is changing, and wellness, mental health is very important. And so we're about to change our professional development allowance and call it a wellness fund and say, honestly, use it for whatever you want. If you want to use it to sign up for a half marathon and a training program and a pair of shoes, go do it.
But we need to see that medal when you're done. Same way we get,
I need to see your
Same way we
time.
get that certificate after
We need
you
your
complete that
time.
course.
Yes.
We need your time to be exactly at least over this.
You need to be.
Just
you
give
need
me the medal.
Place in your age group.
That's
You
right.
got to be
Yeah.
first, second, or third in your age group.
If you don't hit an 11-minute mile on this,
Yeah.
Have you really been training?
Or did you just want those shoes? Okay. But I mean, the way that I've come to this realization is like, again, trying to not over control, right? And say whatever you want as an employee, what makes you happy, we're going to spend the money either way. So does it matter at the end of the day if that money goes to a course that helps them learn Spanish so that they can help our, translate into, because we do a ton of Spanish language translation, but I'm butchering that. But we need to use outside sources. So, a staff member before took Spanish lessons. But if we're paying for that, and then we're paying for someone else to have a membership to CORE, or we're paying for somebody to go to a conference, at the end of the day, if we're spending that money and we're allowing them to spend it, does it really matter? No. I think the staff member should be able to decide. So that's kind of one thing that's been a little bit surprising is like, and I guess the surprise there is that I was wrong in saying no, I think a couple years ago. I think that the answer needs to be yes when it comes to that stuff. And that in large part because our world is different and changing.
Well, and I think it's interesting too that with the mix of, especially with having account people and all that kind of stuff on board, I have like Stephanie on my staff keeps me straight, right? Because I'm I'm a mess. I don't do anything
We
right.
know that about you.
You know, I don't do anything right. But I believe
Oh,
it's
that's not true.
I believe it's part of my value is that I can come in and look at things differently and not have a prescribed way of doing things or whatever.
Yeah.
But Stephanie will go, well, you said that you weren't going to do that, or she'll say, well, you know, you didn't finish that piece or whatever it is, you know, and I can have her look at something and give me a critical eye on it, you know, and I think it's really interesting to have that, you know, combination. And I feel like that's one thing we did do well is to have, you know, a mix of those sort of chaotic creatives and the people that need things to be right.
Stabilizers.
Yes,
Yep.
right. I call them nerds, but yeah, you
Yeah.
know, it's important to have that, you know,
Yep.
people that are going to keep you straight. And
Well, and when you recognize that everybody's different and that's okay,
mhm.
and then help them really be a team,
Yeah.
which is another core value. Look how beautifully this is coming
I
together.
know, it's so good. It's like
You're
it's like it's
welcome.
It's perfect.
it's like it's a keynote, really.
I know.
Yeah.
Another one of our core values
you're
is
developing a
team
keynote.
up.
Yeah.
Team up. And we have to live team up every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And that means you sit next to somebody whose brain is totally different from yours.
Right.
And you have to figure out a way to be teammates, true teammates.
Right.
Not like, she's not doing it the way I want, or he's not doing this, or you actually need to stop and say, okay, he's approaching this in a different way because his brain works different than mine. Just because it's different does not make it wrong.
Yeah.
How do I work with this person so that we can still achieve this goal for our clients? So team up is a big mission, really a core value.
Well,
of
I
ours.
think the hiring process is really important too, because I think if you don't get the right people in, you
Right.
know, I don't remember the book, but it was the right people in the right seats,
Yeah.
right? And I guess that's
that's
Donald
EOS
Miller.
too.
Yeah, that's Donald Miller a little bit. That's
Yep.
EOS a little bit,
It
you know.
is.
But it's like getting the right people in the right seats and taking the time to make sure that you got the right people. You know.
There's also the zone of genius. Have you heard of this one?
Yep.
We've used some of that as well to make sure that we've got the right people in the right seats. And you're right. There's an EOS method where you actually measure people against their core values or your core values, and you like put
Yeah.
people and you rate them. And if you've got somebody on your staff that gets a specific score, that is a clear indicator that they shouldn't be on your staff and
Yeah.
they don't need to be there. And so you're right. If you really do stick to those core values and you make sure that people are adhering to, and I don't mean that like in a mandatory way or
Yeah.
a forceful way,
I
but
under-
like
I know what you mean.
it does become really clear those who stick out.
Yeah.
And as a result, to your point, we've had to, so part of this big core values plan that I created that did win an award, I will say.
Nice.
Oh.
So it
Nice.
could turn into a keynote.
Yeah.
IABC gave the company an award of excellence for this core values plan. But part of implementing it meant looking around and saying, how can we make sure this becomes part of our everyday language, part of our culture, and a big piece is putting it in our hiring processes.
Yeah.
So we test people in our core values in the hiring process to make sure that they're going to fit.
Well, what I think is interesting for us is like 3 or 4 of our previous employees that have all left us in the last 2 years are all still working together. Just not for us.
Yeah, we've had that too. We've had that
And they
too.
work together.
Yeah.
And so somehow I put a team together that works really well together, just
Yeah,
not for me.
Just not you.
Yeah, yeah.
Just not here.
And so I had to. I
Well,
had
that's
to.
okay.
I have to celebrate that. I have to go. You know, it didn't
Yeah.
work for me, but it
Right.
worked for them.
But you did something good.
I know.
You
so
brought
that's
good people
totally
together.
fine, right? And,
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, I think it's.
And recognizing talent
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've tried many people on many different seats before they got off the bus.
Yeah. And then we
Us
kind
too. Us too.
of stopped the bus and we said, you know what? It's probably best that you get off the bus.
Yeah.
Because this is not the right bus. We're going
Yep.
this direction in town. You need to go that way.
Yep.
Right. Not to take
We've
the
had-
analogy so far. But,
We've
you
had
know.
those conversations many times. And I believe, and I tell this to staff all the time, that, I feel like, and I don't want to call it a generational thing at all, because I think this goes generations. I think there's this wonderful loyalty that you can find in most people who feel really bad when they consider leaving your company, right? And I try really hard to tell folks if I can see it in their eyes, if I can start feeling it, because I am a people reader, I can tell when somebody's getting ready. Yeah. And I go to them and say, look, if everybody was a fit for Flock and Rally, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be a world we could live in. That means that 7 million people would work here, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a place. If this isn't your place, that's not a bad thing.
And
it just means there's a place for you somewhere else.
You legitimately need to want them to succeed in the way they want to.
Yes.
You know?
And sometimes that means it just is not the environment for them. We have a very unique environment.
I've had so many of those conversations with people who have left when they are wringing their hands and sweating, you know, thinking about telling me, because I think they think I'm going to be upset about it or, you know, whatever. And all I ever want for people is for them to get what they want out of, you know, if you don't love what we're doing, if you don't love being here, I don't want you to feel stuck here. You're not obligated to me, you know?
Well, and they're also not going to be producing great work.
No, they're not going to.
People are unhappy in their job. They're not going to be doing good work. And you probably know this saying, great work gets you hired, good work gets you fired.
Yeah.
We actually have to produce excellence, which is another core value. Yeah. Create excellence.
Nice.
And it truly is.
Now I think you're just making the...
No.
Oh, that's a core value. Oh, that's a core value.
He's setting me up.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have brought a sticker sheet
it's a keynote,
to give to you. Actually,
I'll give you a transcript of this when we're done so you can make a keynote out of it. Yeah.
I think I actually have a sticker sheet of our 6 core values, but we've almost hit all of them.
Yeah, nice.
But create excellence is one, and we have to. Yeah. We have to create excellent work or you will get fired. There's a lot of competition.
And there's no room for it. I wrote an article on LinkedIn yesterday about this. There is no room for
good work.
Yeah, but at the same time,
mediocre work.
Yeah, but I used to be able to succeed. I mean, I've been doing this since 2005. I used to be able to succeed on image quality. I used to be able to give you a beautiful image. Right. And I had a whole business around just making a beautiful image, right? Well, my phone gives a pretty good image now, right? AI can make an image out of nothing, right? So a beautiful image doesn't mean what it used to. And anyone who hangs their hat on making a beautiful image, you know, you bring me your idea, I don't care what your idea is, I'm just going to make it beautiful. There's no value in that anymore. And so what you have to do is make connection. What you have to do is reach people and I think it's so critical that you can't come up to their expectations. You know, whatever people's expectations are, you can't meet their expectations. You can't. You've got to go above. Right. There's no other way to
above
succeed.
And beyond.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because if you meet their expectations, you're Walmart. You know, if I go into Walmart, I'm looking for a loaf of bread. I get a loaf of bread. I leave. I don't think once about Walmart. Yeah. You know, I don't get anything excellent.
Interesting you said bread.
Yeah.
You know, Tracy, one of our owners, always, I love this analogy. She says, Flock and Rally is not Wonder Bread Factory. Yeah. We are an artisanal bread factory, which goes back to that highly customized approach. But you have to go above and beyond. And that looks different for every client. Sometimes they ask for a basic brand and we blow them out of the water, blow their expectations. And they're like, that literally happened yesterday. We had a crazy rush job for a USC department. I won't say which one. And they had a crazy rush job where they needed us to turn around a designed piece. And they gave our feedback to one of our designers and said, you far exceeded our expectations. We had no idea that you could do what was beyond our brains, right? Like they said they wanted a thing. They had an expectation of it. We gave it to them and it blew them away, right? And we have to do that over and over. And some people, it may be a really well executed design. Other people, it may be that we exceeded the amount of coverage that they got for their grand opening or a promotion that they're doing. And other people, other clients, it may be helping them think through how to solve a problem that maybe isn't even marketing and communications, but because we've developed this deep relationship with them, we come to them and we show up as their partner and we help them solve problems. We are valuable to them. And that's one of the things we've talked about a lot with our staff lately is please make sure that you are valuable You are indispensable
Absolutely.
to your clients. They
Have to be.
can't function without you. And I don't mean that clients cannot function without Flock and Rally, but that is what we want to, that's what we want to be. I want them to say, I don't know what we would do without Flock and Rally, right?
Yeah.
That allows us to survive this AI moment. I don't think it's forever. I mean, yes, AI will be here for forever, but I do think it'll settle down. I do think that we will all learn how to work with it and around it. I don't think it's going to take people's jobs the way that we are afraid of. I do think it will take some, but I believe in the human achievement, right? I believe in the human brain, and no AI machine, although they're great. I mean, I have one that helps me with my emails, I admit. They're great, but they're not really going to replace us. And the humans are going to figure out how to make sure we all have jobs, right? And I believe that.
Well, we had a guest on a couple of months ago that we were talking about AI and talking about, he said that the year before the iPhone was developed, no one could predicted the world that we live in now, right?
Right.
Because the one device changed everybody's interaction with the phone,
Yep.
And he says there's going to be something with AI that does that. Like, it's not happened yet, but like it's all stewing in the background, but it's not happened yet. I think what's very interesting in the current environment, and I'd say in the last month or so, I am seeing regular folks that aren't in our business, right? It's okay for me and you to say AI is the devil because it could take our jobs, right?
Right.
But
I don't think it's the
well,
devil,
whatever. But I mean, it's okay for
Yeah.
us to do that because that's where we are.
It is Skynet. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, totally. And look, will the Terminator look like
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger? I don't know.
Eventually, because Elon Musk is creating the robots.
Yep.
And we'll
That's
all
right.
have robots. And the downturn will be when people start falling in love with their robot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's already happening. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
there's movies based on that. But I mean, look, that's why I always I have very good manners with AI
Mm-hmm.
because I mean it. I am not a superstitious person, but if I can just say thank you so much, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that when they do come, they remember that I was nice and I had good manners.
Now, I'm that way with
Don't get me
ChatGPT. I am not that way with Alexa. I do not like Alexa. I don't like the way she talks to us. I don't like her tone. And I have just recently
feel
found
the
a
same.
setting on Alexa where you could there's a setting in the software where we can just say it's a brief setting. So make her brief. So when I say, "Hey Alexa, what's the temperature?" She goes, weather's a very interesting idea. We should talk more about weather. I'm like, no, what's the temperature?
No, give me the answer.
I get very upset at Alexa, and my daughter just will not talk to her anymore.
Yeah,
She just will not.
My
do it.
9-year-old has the little Echo for kids, and he just in the last week, it's so funny you say that, is getting frustrated with
Yeah.
Alexa. She's not answering his questions,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Mom, what is going on?" I'm like, "I don't know," but she really is not
Well,
being very cooperative.
My phone listens to me enough. I don't
Yeah.
need anything other new devices. In the
Right.
house.
We don't need any
I
other.
refuse
I know.
to have.
I was hesitant to get this for him.
Yeah.
We don't have an Alexa or any listening
Yeah.
device at all in our house except for his because, I'm wanting. He's at that age where I want him to know the weather, be able to ask it, and then get
Yeah.
dressed on his own, right?
Yeah.
So we're teaching some responsibility with it, but I don't know. Maybe it's backfiring. Maybe I should get rid of
But
it.
I'm seeing regular everyday folks that are pushing back against AI, and
Not us, just
not
marketing
us,
folks,
not
right?
not
Yeah.
us in the
Beyond
business, but like people who don't have a stake in it, are pushing back against it, and I'm fascinated with how this is going to turn out because obviously. Us being upset about it is not going to change anything, right? They're not, Microsoft is integrating it, Google's integrating it, Apple's integrating it. I mean, there's no way to get around it.
Right.
But I think the groundswell against it is fascinating because it's been this let's wait and see kind of attitude and certain people using it and certain people experimenting. But now it's getting to be like, if you see somebody post a AI flyer for a farmer's market or something, people are brutal in the comments on get this AI slop off my,
Yeah. I'm seeing
and-
people take full conversations or ask Chat GPT to, put together stats on something, and then they're just copying and pasting that into social media to like start a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is clearly AI, and it says it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like, I mean, maybe it does start an interesting conversation, but like, can't you write that without that AI?
And I think,
bot?
like you said with your emails, there's efficiency tools.
Yeah.
There are things that make everything more efficient. Brian and I were responding to a RFP yesterday, and, it's a 15-page RFP. And I'm like, am I reading all of this government speak? So I uploaded it to ChatGPT. I was like, give me the important things. What do I need to know about this? What do I need to submit? What are they looking for?
Yep.
And it helped me develop a proposal, and that's great. All of that's really good. I think the generative stuff, I think making images right now is interesting. It's a novelty.
Yeah.
You can make weird things that don't exist in the world.
And it's fun. I've played with it
Yeah.
with my 9-year-old,
But
right?
you have
like,
to
we've
you have to
made
know
silly-
about it, right? Even if
Right.
you don't use
you
it.
do, but you don't. I don't think you use those things, right?
And I don't think it's there yet, right? It's kind of it's the internet in 1997, right? It's just like we're putting the AOL CD into the CD player and getting on the internet.
Yeah, I shouldn't say this, and I won't expose the business, but not a client. We just went on vacation with my one of my closest friends' family, her family, and my family. We went to St. Augustine together. And as a joke, several months ago, I went to ChatGPT and I said, make us a vacation logo.
Yeah.
Because our names combined, we call ourselves the McLicks.
Okay. Cool.
That's our last names combined. So I said, make the McLick, summer vacation logo.
Right.
And gave it nothing. It was just the McLick, St. Augustine, July 26, right? And it developed this ridiculous logo. And
Phallic.
it was,
Yeah.
it wasn't,
Yeah.
one person didn't have a foot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. So we had a really good time laughing at it.
Laughably
we did
bad,
not
yeah.
put it on a tote bag or a hat like we
Right.
said we would. But we joked about it. We were like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, about a month ago, I was driving down a street in our city, and I saw a business with a logo,
Yep.
several postered along their new business wall, and it was the same
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
Clearly not even like refined through
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT. And I felt really sad and embarrassed for them. And I knew it was probably because they don't have the resources to have an in-house marketing person or a graphic designer or maybe hire a firm. And they were doing the best that they could. And so like I recognized that, and I actually felt a little sympathy, like, ugh, I wish that like, I don't know, we could have helped them. Like
And to be honest, right now, most people still can't tell, right?
Right.
Most people aren't super
right.
aware.
Most people
Like,
probably looked at that and thought, cool.
yeah, if you show my
Right.
mom one of these things, she's not going to tell you, "Oh
Right.
my goodness, I hate this AI stuff," right? But anybody who pays attention to it and understands it, they see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's what's scary, right?
yeah, it's a weird sort of molten lava part. Nothing's turned into rock yet, and so it's everything's sort of gyrating. And every week there's something new that comes out, and Nana Banana gets better, and Suno gets better, and all of these things get better. And what's going to be very interesting is we sit around and talk about, well, it's obvious that it's not good, right?
Right.
But when it becomes good, what happens, right? Where do we go? Oh, well, they made not only a good-looking video out of a prompt, but it's emotional. It attaches you to the thing. It does all of the things. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if they scan my face and all of a sudden I can do the talking, or they scan, they
Right.
take pictures of events that they've done and they feed all that in, and you get testimonials from people who have actually done. I mean, all of that's potentially going to happen.
Right. And then there is no more $15,000 commercial shoot.
Of course not.
Right?
No, right.
Because if somebody can do it easily.
Right.
And that's why, like, I think, I'm not saying that we have to get in the AI business, but
We have to know about
we
it.
have to know about it. We have to stay constantly aware. We need to teach our staff. And we also need to be a resource for our clients. And so we, again, I won't name the client, but we have just been hired. I mean, it's an existing client, but this is a new scope of work that we're testing out with them. They wanted to be our guinea pig. And we are going to create an AI guideline, like playbook, or guidelines, whatever you want to call it, for their first, just their marketing department. That is kind of first like an employee handbook, like the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
But with deep research and understanding, but then also help train and teach on what is allowed, what is not, how to use AI, how to talk about it with other staff members, how to, create, where's the line, right? So we are testing this as a service that we will offer to clients, where we can come in, analyze everything, look at what they're using already, if there's inconsistencies, create consistency, help them learn what they're okay with, what they're comfortable with, and then help them create their own guidelines for AI. And so that doesn't necessarily sound like a marketing service, but it is. I mean, it's
foundational.
Certainly a communication service.
It is a communication service. So we're, and we're going to, when we do an audit, we're going to look at everything from even emails and efficiencies all the way to what they're asking for is really the marketing side of it. How do we know what's okay, what's not, where's the line? So we'll see. I mean, we haven't started this work yet, but we are starting it, and it may be something that, we offer more.
You got to try. I mean, you got to, as long as you're being upfront about, what you're doing,
Yep.
One of the other odd things about this current environment is I'm having clients go, oh, well, could you just change that background out? Or could you just change my shirt? Like, I don't really love that shirt that I wore. Could you just change the shirt? Because, obviously in Nana Banana, I can just say, put me in a black t-shirt and it'll just do it, right? And of course, that's not something we can do super easily, right?
That's a lot of editing work, right? I mean, an enormous amount.
We'll just reshoot it,
Right.
Go get you a black shirt. We'll reshoot it.
Just come back in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather do that than do it in post. But but they're assuming that because AI can do these things so quickly and easily, that we can also do these things quickly and easily. And we've got to just understand that that's the mindset. That's where things are going, and we've got to adapt.
Agreed.
As the situation goes. And look. Elon Musk is talking about nobody needing money in 10 years, right? That doesn't sound right. But of course, who knows?
But I'd be okay going back to like trading goats and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I am ready for I am ready for this post-apocalyptic world.
I would love to like barter with things. I'm not all animals.
So we've talked about this in my neighborhood. Like, when we had Hurricane Helene, we lost power for 5 or 6 days. And our neighbors, we all got together and hung out and, put beer in a cooler and, just made the best of it. But we were talking about what our roles would be if society degenerates to no power, And, you got the guys that are the sentries that would, watch the gate, and I would be the negotiator. I'd be the guy that comes out front and says, "Do you have an appointment?" And I'd be like the guy at the gate of Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. He's like, the Honorable Jabba can't see you right now. And that would be my role. I'm looking forward to that. Because nobody kills that guy.
No.
I'm just the messenger.
It's like the guy at the palace stores at Oz.
Yeah, at Oz. That was the other one I was thinking about.
And
that's right.
This is a kind of obscure and random, but my son's been watching it. In the movie Robots with Robin Williams and a couple of the Mel Brooks, Big Weld is also guarded by a little hilarious creature that will not allow anyone in. So
in the post-apocalyptic world, that's my role. So
you're the negotiator.
Yeah.
You're
my wife is the gardener, and we've got.
What role would I have?
Oh man, well, you would be the one that we would want to see, right? So the people are
I'd
looking
be
to see.
in?
Yeah, you would be sitting in the taking appointments.
Oh, I'd be in the throne?
Yeah, you'd be the one taking the appointments. You
Yes.
would be like, Merritt is busy today. If you don't mind, come back in
She's journaling.
2 or 3 days time. I think that would be the way to do it. So one of the things that when I met with Tracy originally, I was like, I want to get Tracy and Debbie on here because I want to talk about the idea of being an owner of a company and not being the CEO of the company.
Yes.
Sign me up for that job. So
Totally.
talk to me about how that. Talk to me about how that came about, and when we were working with you at Flock and Rally, you were one of the folks. You just kind of jumped in and did work with us. And to see you become CEO, I was like, wow, that's incredible. And of course you deserve it. But talk about that transition of Debbie and Tracy kind of getting out of the day-to-day operations.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes. I mean. I'm going to start with a little bit about me. I'm trying to not be so
No, it's fine.
Me.
You're the guest. I don't know if you knew that. This is your job. Is to talk about you.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Permission granted.
Mm-hmm.
I have always wanted to. Well, I've always felt driven to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Consciously, I don't think I want to be in charge, but there's this thing in me that's always been there.
Yeah.
For example, in high school, I was at a private boarding school my last 2 years, and every day in front of the entire school, I got up and led the beginning of the day. I read all the announcements. I had to find somebody to say a prayer. I had to call on teachers. I mean, the entire school, and I stood at a podium by myself every single morning of school for 2 years as student body president and led. And I say that because there have been times where I've done interviews, podcasts, et cetera, and I've talked about leadership and leading through fear and all of this. And I've always said I've just fell into this. I've just been lucky. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think that's true. I think that there's always been this desire inside to lead. So the reason I say that is because my first week at Flock and Rally, they hired me. I left the State Museum after 5 great years where you and I first met.
Mm-hmm.
Did some incredible work there. Grand opening of their, Windows to New Worlds project, the race exhibit, which was incredibly important, and then the eclipse. And then I went to Flock and Rally. We kind of made up a name for me as VP of Marketing. And I, to your point, just jumped in and started doing client work. And because I had a background in advertising, we brought in some ad clients. We were able to finally do it in-house. And so the company started to grow because of my skill set and some of the relationships I was able to bring. And I, in my first week, jokingly told Tracy and Debbie, I said, I'll be your first CEO. And I was kind of joking about it. And I really was joking. I wasn't thinking it was actually going to happen. And then when it did, I looked back on that moment and I was like, did I foreshadow this?
Yeah.
Did I vision plan
you manifested
this? Did I manifest this? But how we got there was, so I started as VP of Marketing in 2018. I handled the majority of the complicated and complex integrated marketing because I had spent my career before that doing everything. I mean, I had to do social, I had to do PR, I had to do all the writing, I had to promote, I even did graphic design. It was awful, but I had to do it all. So I really understood how it all had to work together. I was more of a SME in all of it. So I did a lot of complex projects. And what Tracy and Debbie started noticing was that I also had an ability to manage people. And to your point earlier, nobody wants to manage people. Nobody.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
But I especially don't want to manage people. So
nobody wants to manage people because it is really hard. You have to manage every single person completely differently. So they saw that I had a skill set there. And I also had this weird HR. I don't know why I know and I'm good at HR, but I am. I don't know why. If I didn't do what I do now, I'd probably work in HR. I have a knack for it. I don't know why. But they started noticing that I had these operational, managerial type skills. And so in 2020, as things shifted, not just because of COVID, but because of our clients and the size of the company and the amount of people we were starting to bring on, they noticed that their skill sets were very different from what the company needed at that time.
Yeah.
So they promoted me to executive vice president. As EVP, I then took over the management of all the staff. So that was a big change, right?
Yeah.
Tracy and Debbie were managing all the people.
Very hands-on.
And they are very, very talented, but they are both, and very different in different ways, but they're both very creative. They are the creatives. They are brilliant. I mean, you will not find minds like Tracy and Debbie
Oh, yeah.
anywhere. I mean, they're brilliant. But they realize that this operations and admin and the bookkeeping and all of that stuff started to not be what they were in love with and what they were really great at. And I started to emerge as somebody who could do that work. So we got to a point where we were big enough where a central leader was needed. And we talked about managing director. We talked about that as an option. And they are the ones who helped make the decision that it was time for the company to have a CEO, which is wild for a company of our size to have two owners and a CEO.
Yeah.
But they saw their roles very clearly defined and wanted, one of the things we do really well at Flock and Rally is we put people in the right seats, right? And we did that with the owners too, and me. And Debbie and Tracy's contributions to this company are enormous, and they're right now biz dev, which that's an internal term, but business development, networking, being the face of the company, going out and making relationships, and that is one of their primary roles, and they needed to be free to do that. And we have outsourced some things like I have an amazing accountant / CFO and bookkeeper that I don't have to have in-house. I do the finance for the company. I also happen to be weirdly good at finance. I don't know why. I actually love finance. It's my favorite part of my job, which is weird. And so when these skill sets emerged, they're like, this makes sense. We go do what we do best, brilliant, creative, brainstorming, helping come up with amazing ideas for clients, networking, biz dev, and let's let Merritt run the day-to-day. And what a dream. I mean.
Yeah. And I imagine they're a sounding board for you too.
100%.
Like if you have, yes. Hey, I had this idea. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. They're so nice. There have been times where they've said Merritt, you're the CEO. You don't need to keep asking. I'm like, no. I want your buy-in. I care so much about what they think. And this is their company. I don't take that for granted. It's in my hands, but it's theirs. And so I do try to get as much buy-in from them as I can.
Yeah,
it's really important.
That's so fun. And I saw that happen from afar, and I'm like, I want to do that. But
you can.
Well, whatever. But I mean, it's fine. But I realized too, one of the things about managing people is I love having my hand in the cookie jar. I love having my hand in the product.
Yeah.
And the more I started managing people, the more I started approving things and coming up with things and signing off on things, but I didn't really have my hand in the product.
Holding people accountable.
Yeah.
Well, I'll admit every day I miss client work.
Yeah.
I miss it, but it doesn't mean I don't love my job. I love my job.
Yeah.
But two things can be true.
Yeah.
I love my job. I also really, really miss doing the work.
Yeah.
I love the work. I mean, I worked in marketing. I also started in 2005. 21 years. Now, granted, I wasn't always just in marketing, right? Because 8 years of that I was with the 5 Points Association, doing everything from building fountains and working with the police department.
I forgot that you were with 5 Points. That's right.
I was their executive director for 8
years.
years.
You were right before Amy Beth.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
She was my intern.
Yeah.
And then worked for me as my admin assistant, and then promoted her to deputy director and got her ready to take my place. And when I left, she became executive director. Yeah. And that taught me a lot. 8 years as the executive director of the 5 Points Association. Talk about a drinking from the fire hose. I mean, I learned so much that I am able to use today. And I do thank that job, that board, those folks every day for the knowledge I have now. And I mean, for any college students listening, I majored in PR. I've used it every single day of my career. That doesn't happen a lot. But I minored in business. And now as CEO, I am so grateful that I minored in business and paid attention in those classes because I use it every day.
Right.
So don't take your minor for granted. You may need it. You may need it.
See, I wish I was educated.
Are
would
you
be
not?
Nice. I'm not. No, my degree's
cool.
in computer science.
Well, you're still educated.
Whatever, but it's that was computer programming in 1995. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very different animal than anything we work with now.
It still provided a foundation for knowledge.
And I learned art
learning.
history, and I learned philosophy,
Yes.
and I learned.
That was my favorite class ever. Was art history.
Yeah, I loved
it.
art history.
Me too.
I had a great professor.
Me too. We might have
Yeah.
had the same one. I loved her. It was a woman. I don't remember her name. I'm so sorry, but it was the best class I ever took, and it was because of her.
In my mind, my guy looks like
he was a guy.
Bob from Bob's Burgers. He had a big old mustache and the hair.
Not who I have.
Yeah. So, but he was great because I mean, it made you want to learn about Lascaux, and you wanted to learn about the pyramids, and you wanted to learn about all of these historical things.
Yeah.
But did it in an art context and
look at a painting and have to spend hours understanding everything about what it means.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I still look at art differently because of that class.
Oh yeah. It's wild. And as I get older, I find myself going to museums and really getting the vibe. Where like as a younger person, I wouldn't go to museums and love being in there. It was always there's other stuff we could be doing. But
Mom, Dad, take me somewhere else.
But learning the history and understanding and seeing the power of it, is very cool. So Merritt, we could talk for hours. It's so great so great to have you on. We finish every podcast with the 5 favorites, and so I'm going to ask you out of the blue. We're gonna bounce this back and forth, and it's almost random, not completely random. So I think, do you have a favorite commercial? Can you think of is there a favorite commercial even from your childhood, that you can think of?
Okay, so I really wish, I'm going to answer this in 2 ways, but it's because there's a kind of national and a local. My favorite local commercial that had such an impact on me and still does was the Mad Monkey Riverbank Zoo commercial.
The dancing guy?
No, the pumpkin and the vacuum sound, and it slid across the screen. It was like a blank white screen, and you just hear this vacuuming, sucking sound, and there's this jack-o'-lantern that's shaking, and it gets sucked to an elephant's trunk. It is so well done. It is one of the most creative commercials I've ever seen.
I have to look that up. I don't know that one.
Oh, it's so amazing. I think you can still find it because I've made my team watch it. I'm like, you want to see my favorite commercial? It was Mad Monkey. It was made here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Nice.
I loved it. My second answer, I'm going to really try not to get on a soapbox or go down a rabbit hole, but weirdly, I think that the most brilliant commercials on TV are pharmaceutical companies. And it is because they pay probably millions of dollars to psychologists and people who really understand the human brain. And if you pay attention to medicine commercials, pharmaceutical commercials, every single thing is very intentional, and it is trying to convince people to go get that product. And it's, of course, beyond that. It creates a feeling. It's this, I really believe they're the most brilliant commercials on TV, and I hate them.
And they're required to say the side effects, but they lead with, if you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis,
wonderful life you could have, and they're so creative. They really are. I mean, they're probably getting a little less so. Maybe it's because it's saturated, or I don't know, but I really do think they're the most brilliant commercials. I think that they get into people's heads in a way that is honestly unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I do hate the pharmaceutical industry. I love medicine. My sister's a pharmacist, so I honor and respect the tradition of it. I remember as a child, a teenager, why would any teenager know when this happened? This is how this has been in me for so long. I remember in the 90s, the moment pharmaceutical companies could go B2C. Mm-hmm. And I remember that because it struck me as a teenager that was wrong. Like, and I don't know why. So that's a weird answer, but
well,
favorite
and
also,
as a music person, they spend millions of dollars on royalties because they're changing these songs into the name of the drug.
Yes.
Which is real weird.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
But we see, my daughter and I watch several series on Disney Plus, which, has the Hulu integration. And
now ESPN.
It's the only place we watch commercials anymore is there. And it is pharmaceutical commercial after pharmaceutical commercial. And she's 16 and she's going, Dad, what in the world? Like, you're taking a drug to 20% reduce your plaque psoriasis, but it's giving you thoughts of suicide and potential death and all this stuff. And he's like, it doesn't make any sense for anybody to ever take this.
Take this, but you might die.
You might die. Like if you are allergic to this, don't take it.
Oh, I know. That's my favorite one. It's like if you're allergic to it, don't take it. It's like, you have to say that?
There's a reason why we have to say it is because someone has taken it even though they're allergic to it and they die.
The stories that my sister, if she were on this podcast, could tell about being a pharmacist, you would never believe.
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's an idea for a new guest.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get a pharmacist
Tales
on.
from the pharmacy.
Let's talk about drugs. Favorite music. What is your favorite music?
Okay, indie folk.
Indie folk. Okay.
Yep. Gregory Alan Isakov is my favorite singer-songwriter, maybe of all time. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed. I love him. I've seen him a lot. I traveled to see him. Indie folk. So I started kind of with Lord Huron. Mm-hmm. And if you are a true indie folk artist, lover, there's no real one artist. I mean, Gregory Alan Isakov is for me, but indie folk, you may love a bunch of songs, but not necessarily all the artists.
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because it's indie.
Yeah.
Right? So indie folk is my favorite genre.
That's awesome. Favorite movie?
My son asks me this all the time, and I don't know if I could really answer. Okay. Probably Memoirs of a Geisha.
Oh, okay. That's not one I've heard. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my! You haven't seen it? I think it's the most beautiful film of all time.
Okay, I have to look that up.
I think it won a bunch of Oscars. It's incredible. I could watch it once a week and not get tired of it.
That's a heck of an endorsement.
It's a wonderful story too. It's a book based on a book. I actually should probably read the book because the book's probably way better. But
especially now that you love the movie, that's the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Love the movie
now
first and then read the book.
Yeah.
It fills in the details.
And there's this beautiful line in the beginning where she's talking about her and her sister, and it's kind of like me and my sister. And she says, and they're Japanese, but she says her sister is rooted. She's like a tree, and she's rooted to the ground. And that's very much like my sister, but that she is like water, and water always finds a path, even when stuck. And so I don't know, she's very much like me, and it's just a beautiful movie and a beautiful story. So go watch it if you've not seen it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
All right, bring it home.
Favorite book?
Okay, weird one. Les Petits Princes in French.
You speak French to the point that you can read a book.
I used to. I've lost it.
Oh, okay.
But I did. And when I read that book in French, it changed my life.
Wow.
Wow.
There's something about reading a book in a foreign language that you can read, but also The Little Prince is an amazing book, an amazing story. You should read it to your children. And if you could teach your children to understand French and you read it to them in French, it has a deeper impact than English.
Huh.
It did on me.
Interesting.
How so?
That's even hard to describe. I think the simple answer is it was in a different language, and different languages say things differently. That's stupid.
Yeah. No,
okay, so I'm trying to describe
they express
this.
it in a different way.
They express it differently, right?
Yeah.
So if there's an English phrase that says go be your own person, but then there's the French phrase, which I cannot say today because I'm 46 and I read this at 16. The way they express it actually has a different meaning. right? It may be similar words, but the meaning is different because they have to express it in a different way.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
So for me, it was deeper in French because it was a French book. It was actually written in French first. Translated to English, it's still an amazing book, but reading it in French, I think I got the real meaning of the book.
Yeah.
So that would be number one. Number two is a weird one, and it's As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. And if you know, I'm actually not a big reader. I've actually started reading again in my I'm not late 40s, in my mid 40s.
Yeah.
But when I read that in AP English, Faulkner's really hard to read, like really hard to read. But translating it with a team opened my mind to literature. It broke my brain. I was like, what? That's what he's saying with these weird words? Like, and it's a strange book and a weird book. If you don't know, it's like transporting their dead mother across like land. Really, that's the premise. But the way Faulkner talks, it's like a foreign language.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I guess I like foreign language books.
I guess so.
Weird.
Well, you're giving me a lot of things that I've got to check up on.
Yeah.
Last
All right.
one. Favorite dessert?
Ooh, ice cream. Mint chocolate chip with a sugar cone.
Oh,
Green mint chocolate chip or white?
Green.
yeah.
Classic American summer ice cream.
Nice.
Yep.
Love it. Well, Merritt, thank you so much. This was so great. I
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
you
Really
coming on.
enjoyed it.
This is so good to catch up. We hadn't talked in a while, and
I
so it's
know.
good to have you back on. And thanks for watching and listening. Please like and subscribe. And if there are any guests that you want to see us have on, let us know, and we'll talk to you soon.